common trend with me as of late has just been taking extensively long breaks away from this channel and pretty much not posting any kind of content whatsoever and just kind of disappearing off the face of the earth. And to be frank, that's something that I always say that I need to change. And like, I'm probably going to say it again, even though it sounds really redundant. I really do want to change. But that's not mainly the focus of this video regarding the lack of content as of late. Today's just going to be a bit more of a somber and more of a real talk kind of video. So if you're already like not into the video, I guess, then by all means, go ahead, go back to watching whatever you're watching. But if you want to go ahead and hear, I guess, me venting or something like that, I don't really know what to call this video, to be honest. But if you want to stick around for that, then I guess thanks for that. So as you can clearly tell by the title and the thumbnail and all that kind of stuff, this video is just primarily going to be focused on just adulthood in general. This is just like kind of a serious talk kind of video. There's no like script or anything. I mean, I have some ideas of what I'm going to say, but for the most part, it's just unscripted. And me venting, to be honest, because I feel like I need to. I don't know why this video exists. But let's not question it. I'm just wasting you guys' time. I'm sorry about that. So the biggest thing, arguably, when it comes to being an adult is just college, if I'm going to be totally honest. College is such a big thing within, I guess, probably American society, but also like any kind of society as a whole. It's a very prominent thing. And there's a lot of varying things about college, if that makes any sense. Like, for example, I'm excited to move on. Like, moving out from just normal, like, public school and finally going somewhere. But in addition to that, it's not just, like, simply moving on to the next grade level. You know what I mean? Like, if you're... Well, okay, this is from an American schooling standpoint. But when you move on from, like, elementary school to middle school and, you know, middle to high school, it's a big change, definitely, but overall it really isn't that drastic, if that makes any sense. Because when you move on to the next like section of schooling, if that makes any sense, it's not like you're really changing anything too much. Like, for the most part, you're still going to be surrounded by the same people, granted that nobody moves away from you or you don't move away from them. Like, if you're just keep on going throughout the grade levels, you're sticking around the same people that you've been with ever since like kindergarten. Like, if you stayed all throughout your 18 years of schooling in the same exact spot, you went with kids that you were there for like kindergarten. Like, you started with them in kindergarten and all the way up until graduation, you were still with them. Like, that's, I don't know, that's just like pretty crazy. And obviously, like, yeah, more people get added on over the course of the years, but ultimately, like, that's kind of how it is. It's just like, it's not redundant to say, but most people just kind of like, they stick with you. That makes any sense. Like, you have an idea of who goes to the school, and that's just kind of how it is. But when you move on to college, everybody kind of goes their own path. Like, obviously, there's going to be a couple of people that go to the same place you're going, but it's like a chance to reinvent yourself, if that makes any sense, because you're going to be surrounded by so many different people, and in most cases, the campus is going to be so much bigger in terms of population than most, or if like any high school or any kind of other schooling system, you know what I mean? So it's just like, it's pretty overwhelming, if I'm going to be totally honest, but ultimately, I think I'm really excited for it. Like, just take the next step in my own life. I don't even know if I said that before, but that's the kind of route that I'm hoping to be following, is just going on to, you know, college and seeing where that takes me. And speaking of which, like I said before, I'm just really excited because there's a lot of things that you can do there. Like, obviously, I'm in a position where like, I'm barely an adult. So I don't really count. And, you know, like, I'm saying this in like the future tense. Like, I'm not going through it. I'm still not a high school graduate yet, but oh my goodness, we're almost there. I'm almost there, but it's gonna be really exciting. At least I hope so. But I mean, I don't know. I'm just hoping that maybe like all the kind of talk about college and all that kind of stuff just actually does end up being what it's shown to be, if that makes any sense. Well, at least all the exciting parts, like the social aspects of it. If you have a good roommate, you know, then you can just be like total like besties and that kind of thing. And then if you have neighbors, you can interact with them and just have like an amazing time with the group of people around you. And ultimately, that just sounds really fun to me. But kind of a segue regarding like the fun stuff about college, there's also like the negative sides of college, if that makes any sense. So one of the biggest, like most jarring issues that's really scary, like personally to me, is just like the cost of it. You know what I mean? Because everybody knows like college is pretty freaking expensive. Like it's not just a simple, oh, pay $100 and you get to move on with your life. Like it's a very hefty sum of money. Like most colleges are like easily $100,000 for all, like if you just take the normal 4-year bachelor routes, easily that's like, well, depending on where you go, but commonly it's like $100,000 in total, give or take, and usually more in most cases. So, and what I've experienced regarding like my own like college pursuit, if that makes any sense, is that obviously they want you to get prepared, like with scholarships and that kind of stuff. But in a way, it's almost very daunting because I don't know about any other colleges, but in my case, they send you like a receipt of sorts, like outline like your funds and what you have to owe like over the course of your 4 years, and it's almost kind of daunting to go from being like just like a kid living off your parents, like for the most part, like you don't really have to pay bills, you don't pay, like you just kind of live off your parents, if that makes any sense. And like just to have this massive like bill, if that makes any sense, like sent to you, and it being like not just like $1,000 or $10,000, like it's $100,000 in most cases. And it's like it's overwhelming, and like it's good that they do that, like ultimately, because then you have an idea of like saving up, or if you have a deposit for money for college, or like scoping scholarships and all that kind of stuff. Like it gives you an outline, but ultimately it is like a little overwhelming to have that kind of sent to you. And it just kind of like, I don't know, at least to me, it just like kind of paranoids me a little bit, because aside from the financial burden, I guess, of college, I think college might be a ultimately fun experience. You know what I mean? I'm just thinking mainly for the social aspect, and to a degree, the overall like study part of it, which kind of segues into my probably final points regarding this kind of topic of college, I guess, is like my major. So my major, my future goal, I guess I'm just gonna outline it here because it doesn't really matter. But seeing how this channel exists, and I've probably talked about on numerous occasions how I do, despite how like I don't post that often, I still really enjoy making videos, and the whole video making aspect, and primarily regarding film and videography, is just so like appealing to me. Like I just love movies. Movies are absolutely amazing. Like, okay, yeah, everybody loves movies, because they're amazing. But personally, I just love, like, one of my favorite things to do is just to look at the behind the scenes, you know what I mean? Like, just looking at the practical effects, like how did they shoot this, or the backstory of this movie, or how this story of this movie came to be. Like, it's all so fascinating to me. And I just really want to like dive deep into that kind of field. So what my goal is for my major is to study like, film and videography. That's kind of what the major that I selected is. It's like a video film kind of overall major, and honestly I think it would be really fun. And yeah, for typical like 4-year bachelors, the first 2 years like are just your basics, that's not really like, it's not really anything, to be honest. And then once you get into your junior and senior year of college, then that's when you like really start focusing on your major. But just overall, like finally like being able to study, like you know what I mean, like you can study what you want to do in life, and hopefully make a career out of it. And to have that be like your field of study, like you really feel like you're learning something that you genuinely care about, is, I don't know, I feel like it would be so much more self-fulfilling. And again, I reiterate that, I haven't been through this. This is just like me looking into the future, especially regarding my major and all that kind of stuff. That's like 3 years down the line. So there's some distance to it, to be honest. But, I'm just thinking like in future, and then I don't know, maybe like 2 years from now, I'll be making a video saying, oh, I hate this because it was not what I envisioned it, or something like that. Which, yeah, I'm going into it with some amounts of disappointment. Like, not everything is going to be, happiness and fun times and all that kind of stuff. Like, obviously, there's going to be downsides, and, because without the downs, there are no ups. So, just ultimately, I think it's just going to be a very fun experience, at least what I hope for, and I'll just see how it goes in the near future. So, I don't know, maybe I can follow up this video with like an update in like a year from now. So with that extremely long segment out of the way, I didn't realize I was rambling for that long. If you're still watching, thank you very much for caring about my life, I guess, or my venting session. I don't know. This is just like my venting session, if that makes any sense. I don't even know. I don't even know what this video but moving on, let's go on to just overall like growing up. You know what I mean? Now, okay, obviously, you know, like this video has been emphasized a lot. I'm barely 18 years old. I'm not old. Like, okay, relatively, like I'm not saying I'm not a kid, but I'm not 7, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? But I'm not like 35 where I'm saying, oh, I'm old and life is hard and everything is miserable, that kind of stuff. Like, no, I'm barely over 18. And this is like what most people would assume to be the best years of your life. So I'm not even close. But anyways, regardless, all those caveats out of the side, there's a lot of things growing up. Like, obviously in my own life, like obviously like relatively being 18 is not a big number in the grand scheme of things, but when you see it from your own perspective, like this is your own life, you know what I mean? And for my own life, my whole life has been, well, 18 years. So just seeing things that are like 10 years old, like more than half my life, like some stuff that I experienced like a decade ago, because at this point that's over half of my life, which is pretty ridiculous if I'm going to be honest. It just makes me feel a lot more nostalgia, if that makes any sense. Like obviously everybody has nostalgia for something, like probably regardless what your age is. Like even if you're 5 years old, you probably have some nostalgia for something, I guess. Or maybe you don't. I don't know, to be frank. I don't really remember that time, but then again, who really does? But what I'm trying to essentially say is that like things that used to be so simplistic, like, okay, I feel like a broken record, but just like take it with a grain of salt, everything that I'm saying here. But like things that seemed so simple, like before, like just being able to, I guess, like come home from school and just play, like, I don't know, like at the time, like Pokemon X, because that was the most recent game. Oh my God, 10 years ago? That's insane. Oh my God, that's ridiculous. Anyway, like, you see what I mean? Like stuff that used to be 10 years ago, that used to be like worldwide phenomenons, happened so long ago, and it's just like, wow, that really happened all that long ago. Because, you know, at the time it was like what you grew up with, you know, it was your childhood, and to have your childhood be kind of like a distant memory, if that makes any sense, is just so like weird to me. Like take like I said, Pokemon X, like Pokemon X and Y, that was 10 years ago. Well, 2013, whatever, 9, you get the idea. Like it was a long time ago. And think about it, like the most recent Pokemon games are Brilliant Diamond and, okay, well, Legends Arceus, but remakes, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Like those are remakes of Diamond and Pearl. Those two games came out in 2007. Like that was so long ago. And it doesn't feel that long ago because, like, in my mind, and maybe to some other people, it felt kind of recent, but it was not, which is so weird to me. And that's what I'm kind of getting at. It's like things feel old, like probably for the first time, or at least in a more real sense than they ever have. You know what I mean? And it's just so weird, like looking back on it, like, wow, like 2011 was, oh, like 12, no, 11 years. I can't do math. It was 11 years ago. Like 2011 felt like yesterday. And I don't know, it's just weird and just so mesmerizing to see like how far, I guess, you kind of live the world, if that makes any sense. But in addition to that, growing up also kind of has its benefits. Like, say for example, like driving. Like you weren't able to drive when you're like, you know, 11 to 12, obviously. But now that you're at the point, well, like here in the US, you can get your license at 16. So like once you are able to drive, it's so much more like, I don't know, like the world opens up, you know what I mean? Like when you drive, like I feel like you have the ability to go anywhere, which like you can do. Like if I ever just felt like, okay, I'm just gonna go to, I don't know, just like a mountain. I want to scale a mountain today. Like I can literally just like, pick up all my stuff and just go. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just crazy. And it's so much more like self-fulfilling that you can live off your own schedule when you kind of become an adult. And well, I mean, to a T, you know what I mean? But once you do have like freedom, like you can drive literally anywhere. You, for the most part, you have your own money to spend. you can, buy whatever you want to, you can go wherever you want to, and it's so much more like free. There's so much more freedom in the world to, just be able to go and just do all that kind of stuff when you're an adult, rather than, if like when you're a kid, like you don't really have your own money. You can't drive yourself, obviously, so you have to have somebody take you all the time. And it's just so, like, I don't know, it's weird. And it just feels so much more like self-fulfilling that, you just have the ability to be more self-reliant and, just kind of live on your own terms. Like, if you want to, I don't know, eat McDonald's for lunch at 3 o'clock, then, by all means, you can do that. Like, that's a weird example, but you get what I mean. Like, it's just so much more self-fulfilling when you can do things on your own terms and there's not really anybody to stop you. You know what I mean? And also with that, there's a lot more like a mentality shift. Like, obviously, that probably just falls into the umbrella of just maturing in general, but you kind of, like, I guess, become more competent, if that makes any sense. I'm not saying that anybody is incompetent when they're like 5 years old, but you're a lot more competent when you're not 5 years old, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Like, you just have a lot more, like, a greater understanding of things because your world isn't so, like, narrow and horizontal. Like, when you're a kid and you're growing up, like, all your life experiences and everything is stuff that's been put right in front of you and what you kind of live by. So, like, when you're 5 years old, for example, like, your whole world is probably your house, your toys, and then, you eat meals and then you go to sleep. And that's it. Like, there's not really, like, you don't know about, I don't know, the Atlantic Ocean and if there's sharks in it or not, you know what I mean? Like, for the most part, like, you don't think about the greater scope of the world, but, as you kind of get older and, I guess, mature, you kind of understand the, like, the many joys of the world and how many, like, little things there are about the world. Like, I don't know, there's just so many things. Like, I guess you become more aware of, like, I don't know, the dauntingness of adulthood, like taxes and all that kind of stuff. But, I don't know, it's like a weird mentality shift. Like, say, for example, you were to watch a rated R movie. Now, granted, watching a rated R movie at 6 years old is not the greatest idea, but for this example, right? If you watch a rated R movie, or no, actually, no, scratch that. No, if you watch like a PG movie and you watch it when you're 5 years old, like, say, for example, like, I don't know, I can't think of one, like Toy Story, for example. Like, say, for example, you watch Toy Story when you're 5 years old, which everybody should have done. That movie is such, like, it's a childhood classic, but I'm getting distracted, I guess. But when you watch this movie, like, you get to see what's directly in front of you, so it's like, oh, it's about toys and about Buzz being the new toy and all that kind of stuff. But when you watch it, when you're an adult, not only do you pick up on the, subtle innuendos of child movies, which there are a lot of. Oh my gosh, when you watch movies that you haven't seen in like 10 years and then you watch them again, there's a lot of innuendos that you never would have picked up on. So that's something. But in addition to that, you pick up on more underlying themes, like, I don't know, the feeling of longevity and lastingness, if that makes any sense, regarding, again, to the Toy Story franchise. Like, you pick up on themes of, things don't last forever, and, the world is temporary, or like what you envision the world to be is, can be temporary and that kind of thing. And, things can change in life, and sometimes you just have to adapt to it instead of living in the past. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's pretty crazy, but I don't know. That's just, I'm saying I don't know a lot. Maybe I'm just uncertain. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know. I'm just ranting, and it's been a very long time since I've actually, like, done a video and properly talked to any of you guys. So that's something. But anyways, moving on. And I think for this third segment, I'm just going to keep it to, like, I don't know, like, upcoming thoughts on life, if that makes any sense. So, like, just what am I hoping for in the future? Well, I'm hoping that, things go well, that maybe the future is just as, like, hopefully as enjoyable as I ought it to be. I mean, the college years are, like, for the most part, they're supposed to fall under, the best years of your life. So, I don't know, maybe college will be all that, people envision it to be and what it's portrayed as. And it will be an amazing experience, going back to what I was saying before. Or, again, like I said before, I might make a video saying, I hate college, it's horrible, and I don't want to do this anymore. It was not what I envisioned, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. But ultimately, I'm excited. I think everything's going good. Once you surround yourself with, like, a group of people that you can really, like, call like your core group, if that makes any sense. Like people to fall back on, and you're able to have like fun experiences with them, on a frequent basis. It's just like, it just makes life good. Like there's so many moments in life that I've looked back on, or not looked back on, but like thought about, like say, like, I don't know, I just look up at the sky and it's just like wow, life is so good, you know what I mean? And I don't know, maybe it's just my situation, because obviously for the greater scope of the world, not everybody has that experience, especially people involved in global conflicts going on, which is absolutely horrible. But just ultimately, like, obviously it's very like fortunate to have the opportunity of to say that life is good, because obviously not everybody's not in that boat, and hopefully things get better for those kind of people. But I don't know, I'm just optimistic about the future. And I don't know, maybe I just sound like a daydreaming like kid again or something like that, I don't know. But it's just, I don't know, it's exciting to finally like have the doors of adulthood, and I guess a lot more like personal freedom essentially is just like having that door opened is just so much more like self-fulfilling, and it just makes me really excited for the future. And to conclude this really rambly video, I think I'm just gonna end it off on just the future content for this channel. So like I said before, I really do want to make content a lot more frequent, but I guess I just managed to not make videos for 3 months, and just kind of, I don't know, it just doesn't really make any sense why I just go on like long hiatuses without making any kind of videos whatsoever. But especially in the future, I don't know how able that is to be. Like, I don't know, because ultimately, I don't know what to do with my channel. You know what I mean? Like, I need to find, I'm not saying I need to find a niche, but I want to find something where the channel can really grow, if that makes any sense. Because, I don't know, I'm not saying that the channel is like stagnant, and a lot of it is because, I haven't posted anything in about 3 months. But ultimately, like, I feel like we're at a standstill with the channel, you know what I mean? Like, I just need to find a niche that maybe like broadens the topics that I present to the channel, or maybe just making Nintendo gaming content is the worst possible move for a channel. I don't know, to be honest. It's kind of the whole process of learning about YouTube, because even though I have been on this platform for nearly 6 years, oh my gosh, that time flew by fast, oh my gosh. But like I was saying before, even though that I've been on this platform for so long, relatively, whatever. Anyways, what I'm trying to make is that it's just so like, I still don't really know what the niche is, you know what I mean? Because for a channel to be 6 years old, like there are some channels out there that are like, less than that, like 3 years old, for example, and they've like absolutely exploded. Like they probably have like 1 million subscribers and that kind of stuff. And then, there's me, who's been on this platform for nearly 6 years and only has like, 250,000 subscribers. So, without a doubt, there's something wrong about that kind of picture. And I don't know, maybe it's because I make videos like this where I'm just talking for half an hour doing nothing of entertainment. I don't know. But frankly, I just need to find a way to maybe like break out, because ultimately, like, I don't know, I feel like making, and my goal as of late is to not make Let's Play content, because it's so easy, or at least like the generic style of Let's Play content of just, sitting down, recording a game for 15 minutes, talking about it, and then, signing off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that is the easiest content to make. Like, I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. It is so easy to make, especially when you don't put any like extra effort, like captioning it or anything like that. Like when you put none of that extra effort, then it's just so easy to make that kind of content. And I want to kind of break out of that. I'm not saying it was a niche, and it wasn't really a niche ever probably, but I want to like find content that I enjoy making, that's fulfilling to me, because it requires some effort to make, and also does well for people that enjoy it. Like, I do generally want to make entertaining content. I don't just want to make like boring content, because then no one's even gonna watch it, so what's even the point of making it, you know what I mean? And going back to what I probably didn't finish saying earlier, it's going to be interesting how it's going to be in the future, if that makes any sense. I keep repeating myself, I don't know, I'm a horrible speaker. Maybe that's why the channel is relatively absolutely horrible, because I can't speak correctly, if I'm going to be totally honest. unless it's a scripted video, and even then I have like, trouble reading, just stumbling over words and such. But anyways, going back to what I was saying, it's probably not going to be easy, if that makes any sense, because like I've said, throughout this course of this video, obviously I'll be going to college, and with that, comes roommates and social aspects, and still kind of have been doing now, focusing on school and making sure that I'm not, bombing every class and that kind of thing, like homework and whatnot. And a lot of that is going to add to my plate. If anything, my plate's going to be even more full, because in addition to that, like obviously there will be other things like, working, to pay off, college funds and all that kind of stuff. So there's going to be a lot of things on my plate that are going to take away from my time to be able to make content. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm going to do for future content. I don't know. Maybe I'll just resort to, like I said, boring Let's Plays, and the channel will never grow anything past, this quarter of or did I say quarter before? No, I meant a third of 1,000 subscribers. Maybe I won't ever grow from that. I mean, I really genuinely do, because I do have a passion for making videos, and just to see the positive response on videos that have absolutely like blown up, like the ranking, the Mario Kart video tier list that, blew up. It's like nearly at like what, 20,000 views. Like that's absolutely insane. That's so ridiculous. And to see so many comments and positive feedback on the videos that I make is just so like rewarding, and I just really enjoy that. And it just pushes me to, when I do make videos, to make the best quality videos that I possibly can. One of which is not rambly videos like this, I guess, but ultimately that's just my thoughts on content features. So what am I gonna do? I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll try not to go on another year-long hiatus like I did 2 years ago, I think it was. Oh my gosh. I will try not to let the channel die. It's not my ultimate goal. I don't want the channel to die, because this channel is like, it's like my baby. It's like, this is something that I've built from the ground up. And while what I have built is really, really small, it's like my passion project. Like I genuinely enjoy doing this, and there's no benefit for me. Like there's no encouragement. Like I don't get paid. You don't get paid on YouTube. Well, I don't even meet the requirements. You have to have like a certain number of watch hours and at least 1,000 subscribers, none of which I qualify for. So it's not like I'm doing this for money anyways. I genuinely just like, enjoy making content and seeing just positive responses of people. And obviously, of course, if we was able to monetize, that'd be really nice, because college is expensive. So, it'd be really great if the channel could help out in that respect. But anyways, I'm getting off topic. This video's gone on long enough. And if you actually did watch this entire video, massive props to you. Thanks for listening to 18-year-olds say that adulthood is crazy, even though I haven't really lived it, to be honest. But anyways, I'm not going to waste any more of you guys' time. I feel like I've taken enough time already, even if you didn't even watch the whole video. So I'm just going to end things off here. So hopefully in the near future, I'll be posting content. Maybe the next video will be like a Pokemon Green video or something like that, because I think those videos are fun. But I don't know. Seeing how the views are, I don't know if anybody or if everybody else shares that opinion with me. I don't know. We'll just see. I'll just keep experimenting, and hopefully maybe we'll find something that works. I don't know. But anyways, I'm going to stop my rambling now. So anyways, I want to thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the near future. So thank you guys for sticking with me for all these weird, crazy, long hiatuses that I've been taking, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. Bye.